Beg your pardon? We reuse the slides. It's important to keep things familiar. And when one is faced with rapidly changing situations, it's easy to lose one's bearings. So it's good for me, and I hope it's good for you all as well. So again, I'd like to ask who is here for the first time today? Welcome. Okay, so just two of you, but welcome for joining us. I will run rather swiftly through some of these things because most people have heard them before, but this is a volunteer conference run by a team of volunteers, and there we are. We are backed up by an enormous team of volunteers who jump up and pick up tasks whenever there's a task to be done, whether it's on doing the video recordings or operating a camera or helping on the help desk downstairs. So thanks everyone because you make it possible. We're also backed by some expert professional services, our STTRs doing our tech service, Ben helping us up here with the video, City Hall, we've got a creche. I think everybody by now should know that there is a free creche available at PyCon UK, so don't let the needs of meeting childcare requirements prevent you from attending PyCon UK. And if you can let other people know about that, that would be really good for us because it's been several years that we've been running the creche and it's only just starting. I think people didn't really quite believe that there is a free creche at the conference. I think that's what the problem is. So it's very good to see people using that, and we want to see it used more. Thank you to our sponsors. They are out in, or some of them, some have already started packing up actually, so mostly they're still out there in the marble hall. Go and see them, say thank you, see what they have to offer. Now, I know that some people, as well as sponsors, will be leaving during the course of today, so we might not see you before our closing at the end of the day. So if that's you, thank you very much for coming and have a safe journey home, and we hope to see you next year. What do we have today? Well, shortly we'll have our keynote speaker, Nicoletta Glinazzi, a mathematician, so she'll be up in 10 minutes or so. We will have lightning talks at the usual time, following the usual format. There are a couple of buckets downstairs by the registration desk. You write your name and topic on a card and put it into a bucket depending on whether you're a first-time speaker or whether you have occupied the stage before. And that helps us give first-time speakers a little bit of an extra chance. Lightning talks are 5-minute talks on any subject you like. Has anyone here not seen a lightning talk? I don't need to explain anything. There will also be a wrap-up from the bot tournament that Peter Inglesby hosted, that's still running actually. What time will that be, Peter? Okay. Okay. We have some special interest groups that wanted to be mentioned, and I think the best thing to do is if you catch up with the people involved, either on Slack, you can just ask for them on our Slack channel, or I suggest perhaps finding them in the first coffee break. So Transcode is one. Transcode is an organization that works on some of the software-related issues facing the transgender and non-binary community. We have some representatives here, so if you'd like to wave a hand and you'd like people to catch up with you, there's Emma. If you're interested in knowing more or helping out with that, go and see Emma. They can catch up with you in the first coffee break and then make your plans from there. Python in government. Is anyone here in this room who was in local or central government? Because there were, yes, there are. So there were a few people asking, could they have a little meet-up or something? Again, so wave your hands so other people can see you, so that anyone else who's interested in that. Again, in the first coffee break or on Slack, go and find them. Similarly for Python in Africa, Muhewe, do you want to wave your hand? And Luke, wave your hands so you can catch up with them if you want to know a little bit about that. This evening's activity, we've had a board games and knitting and crocheting night. Last night we had the Coder Dojo, and tonight is Python music night in the lower hall at 7:30. Is Ryan Kirkbride here yet? No, he's not. There will be, once again, a pizza van in attendance, and there'll be a bar downstairs in the lower hall. Did anyone here see Ryan's talk last year where he made a live music performance generated with Python in his talk? How many were here for that? Okay, so I think several people remember that. He's doing a workshop today on that, so you'll have a chance to do the same thing. I encourage you to look into that if you're at all interested, and you'll have a chance to maybe share something that you've done at this session tonight. Can I have a rough idea of numbers who might be interested in going to that tonight, so I can tell the pizza people how many people will be going? Put your hands up nice and tall so I can see. Okay, I expect that number's going to increase as well. I remind you of our code of conduct. If you haven't read it already, please go and see it on our website, as well as the values we have in the code of conduct. We want you to know about how to report any issue that concerns you. So phone, email, Slack, or in person to one of the conference organizers who are wearing a red lanyard. The toilets, we have a clear toilets policy. The signs are on the doors. In essence, please leave people in peace when they are using the facilities, and allow them to choose which facilities they are going to be using. It has been a little bit of a problem in some talks that people aren't quite sure how to ask a question after a talk. But I'm glad to say that after a couple of reminders, I think yesterday the situation seemed to be rather improved. So, in short, when you're asking a question to a speaker, it's a question and not a statement of your own opinion or experience or anything else. It's a question to the speaker. Please be aware of the people's lanyards. If they're wearing a red lanyard, it means that they are an organizer. If they are wearing a blue lanyard, it means they're happy to be photographed, and a yellow lanyard means they would prefer not to be photographed. How many people have used the quiet room in this conference? Okay. I hope you've enjoyed that, because it turns out to be a really nice space for conference goers. People really appreciate it, and it works because it really is a quiet room. It's at the far end of the marble hall. You can just sit there in peace and do what you like, as long as it makes no noise whatsoever. I expect you're all on the conference Wi-Fi by now. I hope everyone's found Slack. I discovered that not everyone had, but you know whom to come to find if you have problems with things like that. And you'll also find the organizers on Slack, because they have a little red badge by their names. Feel free to praise us on Twitter. I'm sure that's very good for us. But don't expect any replies from us on Twitter, because we don't use that for answering questions. The schedule is always updated, so it's really out of date on the website. Lunch, now today our numbers are slightly fewer, so this is not so urgent, but if you respect the time slot that you have for lunch, you will find there's less queuing and more happiness all round. Our last dinner at the Clink is tonight. Who's been for a Clink dinner so far in this conference? Okay. Approval, disapproval, what do you think? Yeah, I think that's... So if you want to go to the Clink again, it's a really excellent restaurant. You won't get a meal like that at that price anywhere else. You need to book by 2:30 today, otherwise it will be too late. You can do that from the website. Just go to your account page and you'll be able to book a ticket there. And that's it. Nicoletta will be up in a minute. We'll get her sorted up, plugged in, and then we'll be starting in about 5 minutes. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day. If we don't see you, if you leave before the end of the day, safe journeys and see you again. So.